I'm out of here, So I walked across the street to the recruiting office and said, hey, I want to join the Army. And every recruiter in there, I remember it, all three of them looked up from their desk and stared at me. And they're like, what?
Heart palpitations and stuff.
Yep. I took one little sip and then and I'm just sitting on the couch. I'm like,
hey, Dad, should we do this? No.
Completely snapped off my rear axle except for the lower control arm.
I remember,
they're like, I don't want to do this
without dropping names. There's a kid that tried to unalive himself right after I left by taking a bunch of Tylenol or something that he made himself throw up.
We were at the theater on post watching a movie.
When that happened?
When that happened, so we got the phone call. 15 or 20 minutes left in the movie. I'm like, oh, we should get up right now and go to the hospital. This guy's apparently not having a good day. I really want to see how this movie ends.
He was not without, I'm not mentioning first names or last names. He was not a good soldier. He was just a shitbag, Yep. But I guess he took a bunch of Tylenol, panicked, made himself throw up, called 911. Anyways, they have to come in and do this whole investigation on why he tried to do it. Well, from what the CIF told me, because mind you, I'm already out. I'm already home, but I'm still in technically. I'm on my
terminal leave.
Yeah. So I had 3 months terminal leave saved up. So it's 3 months where I'm still getting paid from the Army, but I can go find other jobs and stuff. So I'm technically still in. So I get a call from CIF, or not CIF, CID.
CID.
Correction.
What's that? Criminal Investigation Division.
It's we've all seen the show NCIS. Yeah, it's the Army's version of that, pretty much.
Okay.
So I remember I specifically got a call from some CID agent talking to me, and he's like, "Yeah, we're probably gonna have to have you come back down here." I was like, "Yeah, not gonna happen." He's like, "Well, he specifically named you in this note as harassing him." I'm like, "I never harassed him, any more than I did anybody else. This guy was way nearer than I ever was."
That would have made sense. I
don't know who else. I don't know who else's name was in the note,
but he wasn't on it. He's like, "Why am I not on?"
He said there was 5 names that he named by name, and I was one of them. I'm like, gosh, dang it! Apparently, he sucks so bad at everything he couldn't even do that right. You know what I mean? But
all the sick Army jokes that follow. What happens when somebody tries to do that?
If we didn't have dark humor, we wouldn't have anything. You know what I mean? Yeah. But
I'm surprised that's not, not to get into that whole thing, but I'm surprised that's not more of a thing.
What, people trying to off?
Yeah, there. You know what I mean?
No, it is a thing.
Oh, it just gets swept up. Get under there.
At the end of the day, I never got charged for hazing.
Listen.
I know other people that did.
Listen. I'm listening.
Yeah. So this was in Korea. This wasn't even with you.
No,
I got in a little bit of trouble over there.
I don't count.
Well, because there's a tradition in the Army called pink belly. If it's your birthday, you get a pink belly.
Is this you get held down.
Everybody in the unit holds you down. They pull up your shirt. Yeah. I never got it done. I would fight like hell. If they found out it was my birthday, no, not happened to me, dog. I would throw people.
When's your birthday? I don't know.
I remember I tried swinging on one of our squad leaders the first year I was in because he was trying to get me. I'm like, not a chance, dude. And he was a big dude, McGuire.
Mm-hmm.
He was not a guy you'd want to mess with. I was like, yeah, I'll mess with you. I really don't care. You're not getting me. But so didn't your situation have to do with a pink belly? So it happened to everybody. It was not a everybody.
It wasn't even. I wouldn't even call that a hazing. It would be more like
no, it's hazing.
Well, I know.
I've seen people's belly buttons bleed.
But I'm saying it would be more like a ritual or ritual.
It's just everybody.
It's like a tradition kind of.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that's what. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
So everybody got it, and then we weren't hold you down and just beat you senseless. You get one.
Unless they didn't like you.
Yeah, you get one good slap.
But you got to think about also the bad thing is some platoons there's 30 guys, some platoons there's 60 guys. So you're going to hit 30 times, but it could be 60. But anyways.
Yep. So that was especially in the infantry circles.
Yeah.
That's what we do. It's your birthday. Hey, you're getting pink belly. But then that night everybody takes you out to the bar and you have a good time. Well, not to get into the finer details of it. There was a guy I worked with in Korea who unalived himself. And so they're investigating that. CID was.
Oh, legitimate.
Yeah, actually.
He didn't fail.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, I actually didn't show up for work one
Mission
day.
completed.
This episode is getting limited. 100%.
So he didn't show up for work on Monday morning. So, in the Army, which apparently is not normal anywhere else, because the people I train now found out the hard way what happens when you don't show up is I come find you. So they went to look for him. They banged on his door, roommate opened the door, and, they figured it out why he wasn't at work. But so there's an investigation. They're trying to figure out why, like with everything. Well, they found out after he had only been there a month, and we got there about the same time. He got there a couple weeks before me, maybe a month before me, whatever.
This is Korea?
This was in Korea.
Okay.
It was his birthday. So he gets to his platoon, and like that first week or two, it's his birthday. So what do? They hold him down and they give him a pink belly, and they took him out that night. There were pictures of the aftermath of the pink belly, and I mean, he got it pretty rough, I guess. But
did he get as bad as Nicholas did the one year?
It was pretty bad.
I say Nicholas was bleeding, dude. Like,
well, he wasn't like actively bleeding, but internal. Had some bruising going on.
Internal bleeding.
It's like when you get kicked by a horse and it's all purple and stuff. Yeah, he got welcomed to the unit, right? And that kind of brought him in the platoon, so it kind of broke the ice with them, and he got to know those guys. Well, they figured that out.
It's like a blood oath,
and so there was a whole separate investigation done just for that, for hazing. So across the entire company, not just like that.
They were trying to like link that to that or something, or
they were trying to see if they were correlated at all.
Okay,
but this was like 6 months prior or 8 months prior to the other incident. So in my mind, I'm like, there's absolutely nothing, that would have. He had personal issues that he was dealing with. So I'm not getting into all of it. It's a whole thing.
No, but in your defense, though, like I've spent a lot of time with you. Like, yeah, we might have pushed it kind of far sometimes with people, but like it was never like we were never like the
it wasn't malicious.
No, it's just like when you get a new rank, it's called getting punched in.
Yeah, when they put it on you.
No, it's your rank goes right here. Anybody that's that rank or higher than you in your unit comes by, and if they don't like you, you put your back up against the wall, and your dog tags have to hang right there. And your whole chest is black and blue from everybody.
I thought you were talking about when people put like a new patch on you and then they punch. You know what I mean?
But like infantry, like when you get your cross rifles, they put them on your freaking thing. At, when you're on Honor Hill, and your platoon sergeant comes by, punches them in with no backings on them. They're pins, like they go into your skin. Like it's just like, there's all different kinds of stuff like that. Where it's just tradition. Like
people, civilian type stuff. It's like, man, that's. But you guys, it's like that's normal.
Yeah. Well, like, and also what's crazy is like everybody thinks like I've worked out of the same place for 11 years now. I've never called off one time. That's like a completely unheard of thing. It's like that wasn't an option when I was young, man. Like that was ingrained in me. Like that was my first, working experience. Like, oh no, you're never even late. Like if you're late, you're done.
You ever be like deathly ill or dead?
I mean, without a doubt,
100%. Like
even if you're sick, you're still coming in here to go see the medics.
Yes. So that was like, so it's just one of those. It is like a culture shock, like he's talking about right there. Like you don't call for work, you don't show up late. Like
a little bit of a hot take on this is the Army's gotten away from a lot of that stuff. It's become more politically correct, right? So we're trying to be professionals, as we should. Like, I don't know if I want to say I bought into everything, but I understand it, and that's what I do, and I do what I'm told. So we're getting away from a lot of those traditions or those things we used to do.
Well, you got to also think about it. The Army's making a huge transition. We were in a 20-year war where we were a wartime Army. Especially in the infantry, you were wartime, and then now you're trying to turn into a garrison military, and it's completely like I remember when we first got back from Iraq, they tried to like teach us how to like parade march, and we're like, what?
Yeah, I was walking around with
they're doing Class A inspections. We're like, what are you guys talking about? Class A? We do that once for the ball every year. Like that's it. Like it was just weird. It was like this isn't us. Like we're dogs. We're not freaking show dogs. You know what I mean? We're junkyard dogs. Like we don't do this stuff. So Ben's out there trying to teach us how to parade march. I'm like. What's he doing?
Why are we doing this?
This is so.
It's going to make me shoot better.
This is going to make me shoot better.
3-1 deploys to Afghanistan next month. You think I can get over there? Like, I don't want to do this.
But yeah, so the Army, I mean, they're changing how they look at things, right? So they're becoming more professional because we're a garrison Army. And from my experience, right, I was a drill sergeant for 3 years at Fort Benning. And I've been an instructor. I've been training people before. So we're getting these guys coming in the Army and gals, right? They're getting people that come into the Army, getting the stories from everybody that came before them about how it used to be.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. When I told my family I was joining the Army, my uncle told me, get ready to be a second-rate citizen. I didn't know what that meant. I just kind of laughed. I was like, okay. He's like, no. He's like, you're going to find out. And truly, because you're giving up a lot of your freedom because you don't get a choice anymore, right?
Yeah.
So I'd heard some stories from him. And, you always hear the other stories and your recruiters and everybody else. And then you live them and it's true.
Yes.
And then it becomes everything you wanted it to be. And now the Army's taken that away. And I've talked with people coming in the Army, like at the end of basic training, getting ready to ship to the unit. And they're like, honestly, drill sergeant at the time. Like, honestly, drill sergeant, like, it was easier than I thought.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. I'm like, it's different than how it was when I came in. Why? They want the why, which kills me.
I've heard that a lot of like newer recruits or people that come in, they want to know like the why to almost everything. Like they want to figure it.
They're questioning.
Yeah. So when we came in, there was no questioning anything. Otherwise, you
weren't paid to think.
Well, and I think that's I think that is too because of kind of like the time we live into now. You know what I mean? Like you got to what?
Well, it's also
you're a millennial.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because Ben, you're what, a year older than me.
Yep. So we're probably about the same age.
89.
Yeah, he's 90.
Yeah. So I'll be 30. I'll be 35 next week or 2 weeks from. So you'll be 37 this year. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I mean we're all millennials, and we grew up, in my opinion, the best time.
Well, we grew up before the internet. We all remember getting
the internet come in.
We all remember
cell
flip phones.
Before, yeah, like
we remember the first smartphones.
Yep.
Like
now you have these.
But when we grew up, we didn't have any of that. So there was no Life 360. There was no you were able to just your parents had to have a little bit of faith in you.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, come home when the street lights are on. Let me know where you're at every now and then and stuff. And I think too, like what I was saying to you about like they always want to know the why is like, that's just how these newer generations are. They want to know the why to everything. It's
everybody's a skeptic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to be with the way the government lies to us now. The media lies to us. Like you have to be skeptical of absolutely everything. So that's ingrained in them where you got to think about, we didn't start being skeptics of stuff and believing some of these conspiracies until we were in our late 20s, early 30s.
2020 rings a bell.
These kids are growing up in that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Did something happen in 2020?
Yeah. I don't remember. 2020 rings a bell. But yeah, no, like I said, I think it's kind of just because you deal, without getting into stuff, you deal with a lot of people.
I do. Yeah. I'm fortunate.
And you'd probably deal with a lot of younger people too.
I do.
So you got to deal with that generation and, people closer to our age to where, and I think it would be hard too to kind of,
you know what I mean? It's got to be crazy for him because I remember when we were in, we'd go out and do training and they do an AAR, an after action report. And, so we're all sitting there talking, in this big group, and it was like, all right, what could we have done differently? And it's like, well, what if, and eventually it'd be like, yeah, what if a meteor hits? Like, shut up. We're not playing the what if game, like, no, that didn't happen. This is what, okay. Like, my bad.
I'll shut up now.
But I don't know if it's harder for me to get used to having to give the why when there's time, right? There's a time for why, there's a time for...
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it's harder for me or if it's harder for them to understand that, hey, I'm not going to tell you why all the time. Like, you just got to trust me. Which is, that's what we did.
Well, and that's part of the reason why they do the things that when we were in, there's a reason why you did certain things. It was, hey, I need 2 guys. It didn't matter what, you didn't know what the job was. You didn't know, you just jumped up and ran. Because if you didn't, you're going to get messed up.
That was my first 3-month detail.
Do you want to do extracurricular activities in the basketball courts behind the barracks until 3:00 in the morning? Because that's what's going to happen. Literally 1700, final formation, whatever. And literally, if the guys that were team leaders and squad leaders that lived in the barracks, if you messed up, yeah, you guys aren't going anywhere. Meet us up in the
everyone else would leave and you guys would just stay.
So you'd be out there in the basketball courts doing push-ups, little man in the woods, I'm a star, whatever, for literally 4 or 5 hours until you couldn't, you were going to die. So it was one of those yeah, you just didn't ask questions. You just were okay. But what that does is that that instills in you that if you're ever overseas and you're ever in a situation, your team leader comes up hey, go to that point of cover. You're not well, why?
No one else.
You don't think twice. You just sprint. You know what I mean?
What is I'm a star?
Okay, so that's where you squat down and you have your arms down at the side.
Is that what that is?
And then you jump up from your butt touching the ground. Pretty much. You jump up and throw your hands up and kick your legs out.
So you do a jumping
and yell, I'm a star, and then come back down.
So we can take it up a level. We call them star bursts. Because especially in the desert when there's sand everywhere, when you squat down, you grab handfuls of sand.
Oh my!
And when you jump up, you say, I'm a star, you throw the sand. and you turn 90 degrees and you're going in a circle, right?
Oh, that would just you're a walking piece of sandpaper at that point.
Dude. Well, but it's crazy because like I remember us out in the motor pool doing something, and Nicholas messed up big time. He always messed up, and he was in my freaking squad. So of course, all of us Joes, they take us over to the edge of the motor pool, and they're like, "Get down, facing the sand, start low crawling." So we're starting low crawling, and like, dude, the sun's beating down on us. We're on hot sand, just like barely can't lift our head up, acting like, or what they say, you're a turtle now or something. Like, put your. So, anyways, I remember Nicholas looking up. How far do you want us to low crawl? Low crawl till you hit a fence and then come back. I remember looking up and I'm like, I was like, I don't see a fence. He's like, we're in a military installation. Of course, there's a fence. You'll hit one eventually. It's like, gosh, dang it.
Remember, I forget who it was, but we were out at a range, and there was a staff sergeant in a different platoon. Don't remember his name, but I can see his face because he liked to play a game called Find My Rock, and he would pick up a random rock and throw it, and you'd low crawl until you found his rock. So you'd go out there. Here's the secret: you're never going to find the right rock. You'd grab a rock and you'd go back. Sergeant, is this your rock? No. And that went on for an hour until trans got there or whatever, and
And he's talking about transportation, not the modern stuff.
I'm
not woke. I'm sorry.
I was at what I said. I've been on a Nico kick lately because that dude's hilarious. But he always watches like military fails and stuff. What is it like? I don't know if it's like an inside joke in the military or whatever. It's like, but you like bend down, like you grab the back of your legs, and you say thank you or can I have another or thank you or something like that, and like you're squatting down like the whole time you do it. You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
What is that? Is that like a inside joke thing or like what is that?
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, I've seen like full, I don't know, platoons or whatever. I've seen like full 30 plus people do it at one time, and they're all just like chanting, and I'm like, what is this? Like, what's going on?
So, and this is something that's been lumped in with hazing. But it is kind of a joke. So I've heard allegedly that when this has been, let me rephrase that. So when you have a formation, right, you got everybody formed up. The first and third rows will squat down and grab the backs of their ankles. So they're basically bent over at the waist.
Yes, yeah.
And the second and fourth rows, they'll assume the straddle stance position. So they'll feet about shoulder width, hands on the hips, and they just stand there. And then the first and third rows, they start dropping their butt down to their heels and coming back up. We call it the monkey effer.
They're like squatting, but their hands are behind their legs or whatever. Yeah.
And they're doing that in front of guys that are just standing there. So it's hilarious to watch, and honestly, it's pretty funny to do. Like even when you're out there doing it, you're like, "Oh, this is hilarious."
Well, but you guys got to remember where this guy's coming from because I could be remembering wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was you. Like I'm 99% sure. But I remember when we were both team leaders, one of our Joes messed up, and he's like, "Go ahead and do some wall sets."
Is it Joe a private?
Yeah, your dudes are below you.
Okay.
So he's like, because I remember Ben walking over. He's like, "Hey." Because I don't remember the kid's first name, but I think it was Williamson. He was like, "You ever thought about buying a motorcycle?" Every 18-year-old infantryman stationed down in El Paso where it's 100 degrees is thinking about buying a motorcycle. Yeah. He's like, "What kind of motorcycle are you thinking about buying?" Like a Harley or like a crotch rocket? He's like, I don't know, either or. He's like, okay. He's like, go ahead and do a wall set. So he's like, but go ahead and act like it's a motorcycle. Hop on that thing. So he lifts his leg up, sits up against the wall. He's like, "What, you have a silent motorcycle? Put your arms." He's like, so he sat out there. He's like, "Now what kind of motorcycle you got?" "Harley." "Okay, let's hear it." "What? Oh, you know gears?" You remember that?
I do. Yes.
Gosh, dang it.
I used to, dying cockroach was a favorite one too. You ever seen like a cockroach or like a beetle on its back?
And it's like trying to,
insert young Joseph usually.
Little Hua, if you will.
Yep. Hey, dying cockroach, go. So they lay on their back with their arms and legs in the air, and they got to shake them around and stuff. Which again, I think it was almost more for my entertainment than punishment. But it does actually get pretty tiring.
It was building character.
But it's just the culture. Like I remember the one time we were up in the platoon sergeant's office, and there was like windows out back, and you could see into the side of the motor pool. and our guys were out doing something. And I remember Ben pulls out his cell phone and calls Christian. And Christian's standing out there, and he's like, "Hey, you see him looking at me?" Like, yeah. He's like, he starts talking to him, and then Ben was like, "Are you seeing that parade wrestler you're talking to me?" He's like, "You literally see nobody around him." Puts his arm out, like, yeah. I think you were a sergeant at that point in time. Like, "Yes, sergeant, I'm at parade rest." Ben's like, because mind you, this is our dude. Like, we'd go out and off road with, so we're like, Ben's messing with him. You know, he's like, he's like, "For not saying parade, get down and start pushing." He's like, "Oh, okay." Push-ups. He's like, "How many have you done?" Mind you, Ben's up there counting. He's like, 10. He's like, "I counted 9. For stupid shit like that. You know what I mean? Just
the context. This is like 2012, 2013 time frame. Yeah. So this is I know the Army's got a lot of different stances on things now. So.
No, and this was all this was hazing. Like this was two buddies messing around with each other.
Would you say without? I mean, I know. Well, you're still in. Has it gotten soft-ish? Like without hurting yourself. I mean, I don't know if you can hurt yourself or get in trouble.
Here, he doesn't get in trouble. Yeah, it got soft. Hexeth is starting to change it a little bit.
Who did?
Hexeth, Pete Hexeth.
I don't.
The Secretary of War.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
but anyways, you were asking, before we kind of had to pause here for a second.
What did I say?
I'm talking about is the Army softer now?
Yes. Yeah.
And without him getting in trouble, I'll say this: the Army has always kind of been softer, but the infantry wasn't. If you were combat arms, it was always a little bit of it was like you were in a whole different military, pretty much. Am I wrong?
No, because even when you would interact with other people in the Army, they'd usually look at you and be like, "Oh, what do you do?" You're like, "Oh, I'm 11 Bravo, I'm infantry." "Oh, okay." Because we talk a little rougher,
Mm-hmm.
we're usually a little more
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you both were 11. Okay.
Yep.
11, yeah.
So from my perspective, certain units have tried to maintain their high standards and how they operate. I can almost guarantee every single unit has felt change to lower the standards. Well, they want to say lower. They want to change them, right? We're not lowering. We're changing things, And it starts with like the PT test. It started gender neutral, and then it wasn't, and now it's back to like depending on your MOS. So you're a military occupational specialty. Now to where there's the new the CFT, the combat fitness test that they're implementing right now. That is an addition to the fitness test. There's just a lot of change. So is it changing? Yes. Do I think it's softer and different? Yes. But I think every like generation of people that come to the Army always say, "Well, when I came in, that was
Oh yeah, I'm sure you talk to a Vietnam vet or something. You know what I mean? They're probably like, "Oh, you guys are so." You know what I mean? Like I said, everything's going to be everything's going to change.
I know it's going to be different for him because he went straight over to Korea first off with I don't want to say it, an honor guard unit.
Yeah.
Like I remember me and Kegley, we literally got to our unit down at Fort Bliss at the exact same time. We were in processing together. And I remember literally thinking to myself, this is way harder than basic. Like just the amount of times we got smoked. I remember walking in and there's a couple specialists that were team leaders literally barking at us like dogs. And like one of those, like you feel like a little kid walking in with all these full grown men. You're like, gosh, dang it. Like what did I get myself into? And I remember because those guys had nothing better to do. They'd be out back on the basketball courts drinking out of a handle on a Tuesday evening while they're smoking you on the basketball courts. You'd be out there doing push-ups and little man in the woods, burpees, whatever. Until they got tired. Like, all right, you guys
Until
go.
they got tired. I was tired an hour and a half ago.
But you know what I'm saying? Like literally, like so that's like that was my introduction. Like I just remember sitting there at night, getting into the room at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. I'd be like, man, I haven't eaten yet. I haven't showered. I got to be up at 4 o'clock. I get 4 hours of sleep. I just remember thinking to myself, like, man, this is so much harder than basic was.
And a lot of what you saw too is you saw guys that were very proficient and experienced at their jobs. Like they got trained hard as well.
Yes.
So they, as much as we got smoked or messed with or whatever,
they got it more probably.
They got it more, but they also trained us too.
Yeah.
So there
was that happy medium kind of thing, or if that's what you want to call it, something like that. Like
yeah, I've been known to be a wise ass sometimes. So
I think I've met you 3 times. I could see that.
You build this relationship with people, and you make a stupid comment like, "Oh, get out back." You're like, "Oh, okay."
Well, and that's the thing too. Like, and I'm sure a lot of people that not even even me just not having any kind of background, but even you just see stuff like that. It's like you may smoke them or beat the dog crap out of them, but no matter what, 99.9% of the time, depending, like you said, there are some soldiers in there, but like you're gonna have their back no matter what.
But the difference is that like civilians don't fully understand this. Is like we're just talking about the one guy, Christian. He's out back. If he called either one of us on a Sunday night or a Saturday night at 3 a.m, he's like, "Hey, I need you right now." You're getting up, you're dropping everything, and you're there wherever he needs you. Like it was. Yeah, it might have been hazing, there might have been different stuff, but it was a brotherhood like you'd never seen before.
Yeah, 100%.
Like if Ben needed me, like I would have, still to this day, I'd drop anything. It doesn't matter what it is. I'd buy a plane ticket, call off work, whatever, and I'd be there. And it's just, that's the kind of, I don't know. That's what it kind of builds though. It's like, yeah, you're getting hazed. Yeah, you're doing this, but like you die for that
like
guy.
It's camaraderie, but like on
a whole different
steroids.
level.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even, the difference is, and from what I think, and again, I'm still in, so I don't know, but on the civilian side, the people you work with, you just work with them, right?
Yeah.
In the Army, you don't just work with these guys. You live with them. You know everything about them. They don't buy a car or get married or go to court and or have to go to court for a speeding ticket. There's nothing that happens that you don't know about.
Yeah.
It's family member, same thing. And then you build these relationships where.
Yeah. Well, it's also at the end of the day too. I mean, just outside looking in, these are the people that you literally rely your life on too. It could come down, it could come down to that. It's like, I don't want to make this guy too mad because that day may come where I might need him. And he's like,
no, I mean, but you got to think about it. When you spend that much time with people, like me and Ben, we've almost been to blows a couple times. Like, I mean, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like the next morning, hey, dude, let's go. We're gonna go do, like who cares? Like, doesn't matter.
And I think too, though, that has a lot to do with being a guy as well. Like I was even just talking to Katie about that the other day. We were watching a show and like these two dudes were like fighting, and then like 5 minutes later they're dapping up. She's like, "How?" I'm like, "That's just being a guy."
Yeah.
Like me and we could get into an argument and be like, "Hey man, my bad." Like, and then you're just done.
Yep.
Like you don't hold on to shit. No. You don't hold grudges or it's just once it's done, it's done. I mean, but I think that's females don't really. See that aspect very well.
And the crazy part is like men can vouch for this too. Is like when you get out in the civilian world, like if you have a disagreement with a coworker or somebody pisses you off, like you can't do anything because cops are gonna get involved.
Yeah,
there was not that threat when you were in the Army. Like, oh, you're gonna piss somebody, you're gonna catch hands. Yeah. Like there's gonna be a fight.
Yeah,
there's gonna be a wall to wall counseling. There's gonna be something like, and it's just like I know that's probably all changed a lot, but like it was like with the situation we had at work a few months back where a guy was trying to get in my face. It was like. You guys almost saw the old me for a minute.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't know who I am.
But
like
leading into that, it was done and over with.
Yeah. After
You
it was
guys
done, I shook hands.
You shook hands and you guys are squares now. Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. It's like, and I'm not saying that has to do with your military background, but it probably has something to do with your military background.
Well, the thing is like, that's also the thing is there's a mutual respect thing when you're in. Like Ben knows what I can do. We've done combatives together. We've like wrestled around out in the desert. Like he's like we you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like there's a mutual kind of respect you're capable thing.
Of. Like yeah.
But
and I was to say too, like we were talking about the not as tough. I don't want to keep saying soft, but like is it true too that you said you're a drill sergeant? Or
I was.
Or, yeah, so now you can't you're not allowed to scream at them and get physical and things like that. Like it's a lot more kind of I don't want to say passive, but it's a more I don't know what the word I want to say is, but
it's less aggressive.
Maybe something like it. Yeah,
you're the professional leader.
Less hostile.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be those two aggressive, hostile would be two good words for it.
Which, so what the biggest thing that affected is when they first come in and everything's new and you don't know any of the other 60 guys you're sleeping in the same room with, and you're doing stuff you've never done before and you don't even know how to do it right. You can't even wear the uniform right. You literally don't know anything.
Yeah.
And it's aggressive, right? We're in your face every day, sun up to sundown. And we're breaking them down, right? It's kind of like an ego check, right? And then we build the team. We build them back up, right?
Yep.
So there's a significant emotional event. There's this first week or a couple weeks when you come in where you have to just accept that everything's going to suck.
Yeah.
And then you slowly get better and you learn things and it all makes sense. There's none of that. Or it's more difficult to achieve that without breaking them down. You gotta make them a soldier, right?
Yeah.
So
here's a question for you.
Kind of like you said, like you might have a guy in there who was stud in high school, stud football player, stud whatever, and then he's got a super big ego, and then like, homie, that don't matter here. You know what I mean? So you kind of got to check him a little bit, and
everybody I treated the same. There was only one guy I ever saw
just terribly
that did not get treated. yes, yeah. But there was one guy in my basic training, when I was going through basic, that did not get treated the same as everybody else. The dude was in the Invasion of Fallujah, got out for like 10 years and decided to re-up. So the guy's walking around with the combat patch, like he got treated a lot different. Like the dude's got like a CIB already with a star on it because he had been redeployed to Afghanistan and Iraq.
So if you leave,
like if you
and
leave,
you come back, do you start?
Yes,
or you don't start where you were. You start down.
No.
It depends on the break in service.
His was like 10 years.
Yeah, you'll usually come back at least a specialist.
Yeah.
Very rarely would you be like
come back as a,
but you still have to go through all the basic, all your AIT, all that stuff.
And that's like what, like a E4 staff sergeant.
Yeah, well, specialist would be a E4.
Okay.
E4's, yeah.
So once you leave, you lose all seniority in a way, to an extent.
Yeah, without a doubt. But me saying that out of our 60 guys, I remember him like going into the office with the drill sergeant stuff, putting a dip in and hanging out with them. You're like, screw you. But it's like, so that like, yeah, but it's kind of like you said, ego check. It doesn't matter if you're a stud. It doesn't matter if you were made fun of in high school.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're a nobody. Like
everybody's the
same. You're treated the exact same in basic.
Yeah. So I've had guys come in and just to show you the full spectrum, bounced around foster care system and like ended up having to be homeless to get out of bad situations.
Yeah.
Then I've had guys come in, with
Silver
two degrees or
like
a master's already. And
or like Justin with mom and dad that are millionaires.
Yep. And we running their own business, even making, 6 figures plus a year, and wasn't happy and always wanted to do this. So came in, but had already been successful in life. And then you have somebody that literally didn't have a house, or anywhere to live. Yeah. They both come in and guess what?
You're the same person.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. I laugh. I used to tell him, I was like, your road was a lot shorter to get here than his.
Yeah.
I'm like, but you're both here now.
Yeah.
I was like, it really doesn't matter what you did before. Yeah. The enemy's not going to care. And it's really about how much work you put in now. It's going to make a difference to me. So.
Yeah.
Well, what I was going to ask you is because like you were a drill sergeant, what, about 5 years ago? 6 years
so
ago?
2019 to 2022.
Okay. Do they still do like red cycle, all that stuff? Is that still a thing?
Yes.
Okay. And what he's talking about is the breaking it down. They to break you down to build you back up. They have different cycles. Like red was the first one. It sucked, right?
Yep. So that phases of training. It was red, white, and blue for your basic training, and then
that's
they
good
had
colors.
Like black and gold for like your AIT portion.
See, and I think it was a little different when I was or when I went through basic, but I can't remember for sure. It was
because we did 14 weeks,
16 weeks.
Whatever.
When we went through basic, I'm pretty sure it was 16. I'm almost positive.
Well, I think it was 14, and then there was an extra 2 weeks of like the mortar training they sent a lot of people through.
Okay.
Semantics. And then I went through the transition to 22 weeks.
I went to javelin training for those 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty cool.
But you never knew that. Anyways.
Didn't you have one like blow up on you almost?
No.
Or
no, that was. We can get into that after this. That was a Carl's Gustav that I was too close to.
Okay, yeah, okay, I knew it was something.
But yeah, so it was 14 weeks, and we transitioned to 22 weeks while I was down there. And I believe now it's been cut back to 16. But I'm not really up on what they're doing right now. But yeah, so there's just different phases of training, and basically what it is they're getting more trust, and they're getting more autonomy, to do things on their own because they know how it works. So it's part of building back up to the point where, we're in like our black phase of training where all they're doing is training.
You said black phase.
Yes. That's what it's called. But all they're doing is like their actual job training. So they're doing infantry tactics, we're doing shoot houses, we're on the range, alpha, all that stuff. And then when we're back from training, we're like, you're telling what you want them to get done with minimal oversight. You're still there, but they're able to do it on their own.
Okay.
Probably how it feels to like manage a well-oiled, like a crew, right?
Yeah.
And you tell them what you want to do, and they know what your expectations are.
Like a lot of delegating kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you have people that don't, well, for the most part, probably don't cry and complain about it. Or if they do, they don't do it to your face or whatever else.
Well, they can try.
Well, this
Talking about sweeping the parking lots and all that stuff.
We used to sweep the motor pool down at Fort Bliss, where it was a constant sandstorm. Pretty much, always went. You could sweep it 10 times a day. There's still sand everywhere, but they'd have to go out there and sweep it twice a day.
We'd have to move the Bradleys up to sweep under them, and then we'd move it back. But then we left dust from the track pads.
It's just going back and forth the whole time. Or I've seen people like they send them out and like mop the rain and stuff like that. All that stuff.
Dude.
Like it's like,
Flip all the rocks over. It's like,
what is this building? What are we?
That's a lot of extra duty stuff. That's if you get in big trouble, you get what's called extra duty, and they're going to make you do something. Whether it's, hey, those rocks out there look a little dirty on this side. I need you to flip them all. So the guys on their hands and feet would be flipping individual stones.
That's insane.
Well, they're out in the sun all day. You don't want one side to get darker than the other, so you got to flip them over.
See, that's why he said
It makes sense when you think about it.
Everything makes sense if you think about it, really.
So what you were talking about, and this is actually a story I've brought up to different people, and they just don't believe it, which you were there. So right before I got out, we went out and did this huge training mission with some 313 SF dudes. And before we went out and actually did the actual training, they had a big range. So we go out there, dude, and like, just to give you a breakdown. Big Army, like what we were in. You go to a range, you go up and get your ammo. Ammo walks with you while you're going up to the line. Your M4's bolts locked to the rear. The range master checks it, makes sure it's clear. You go and lay down in the prone position, and they tell you, all right, load magazine. Yep. So you load your magazine in. Let bolt go forward.
Oh, so it was like step by step. They told you what to do.
Aim down, and you're in. You've got your helmet on, your full body armor. That range master's walking up and down the line of fire, making sure nothing happens. And when you're done, you have to put your foot up to at least that's what we did. You put your foot up. Once you come down, you slap your foot down. You'd stand up. You had this big brass rod. You'd lock your bolt to the rear. He would check it visually. Then he'd shove this long brass rod down the barrel, hit the bolt. It would make the bolt go home. You have to walk back out, and there's another range master that do the same exact thing. You have to lock your bolt to the rear. He'd double check it. And then you go back over, and like, depending on the range, depending on how strict it was, they'd even check you for brass and ammo, make sure you're not trying to take anything.
I've heard about that too. Like,
so mind you,
can find something on
that's
you.
Everybody's experience with the Army. That was Big Army. We go out to this range, and they've got their Mark 18s, Carl Gustav's M134 miniguns. They've got saws. They've got Mark 48s. They
had Laws, AT4s. They had a couple 60 millimeter mortars set up. Just one long line.
Just all down this big firing line.
Yeah.
And these dudes are walking around with their PCs on and tan T-shirts.
Pretty sure they were just wearing ball caps.
They might have been. Yeah. But like, they were not wearing body armor. They were not wearing helmets. And I remember our sergeant, Esteban, he has us all over there. He's like, all right, little whoas, like, listen here. Like, this is big boy rules. Keep your muzzle pointed in a safe direction. And he was so uncomfortable with it. Like, you could tell it was just, that killed him. But literally, you could just walk up and be like, hey, can I shoot your Mark 18? Yeah. Grab a magazine, slap it in there, hand it to you. You're like, put it in full auto. Go up and shoot the M134, go over there and shoot an AT4, all this kind of stuff that we never really got to do. Like in basic, I know things have probably changed, but it was like when you did AT4, they have these little
subsonic
9mm tracer rounds, and it's a trainer, and you shoot it and you see the tracer. Then there's like one or two live AT4s that they pick the guy that does the best, and they go up there and they actually get to shoot the AT4.
So you would shoot an AT4 and it would just shoot a 9mm out of it?
Yep.
That's wild. A trainer. So
like it was the same way, same mechanic, same everything. Yep. But when you would shoot it, it would literally just be
and it was a subsonic, like you said, it was a subsonic 9mm round that was a tracer, so it would have roughly the same trajectory as but it was that same way for everything. It was, you go to the Mark 19 range, which that's a belt-fed full auto grenade launcher. Yeah. We're all shooting paint rounds, and then they'd pick one guy to shoot some live rounds. Like it was never like what you like.
It wasn't like a free-for-all kind of thing.
This was a free-for-all. This was literally you walk up.
You're with the SF guys.
Yes. Yeah. So like I remember going up and shooting that M134, ripping off, 13,000 rounds in a matter of a couple seconds, or like 2 minutes.
Like, that's expensive.
You didn't care. Uncle Sam was paying. You guys were paying for it. But I remember walking down and I was like, man, that Carlos Gustav looks sweet. So I walk up and I shoot it, and then hand it off to the next guy, and I'm standing like, I don't know, like 30 yards off, like to the left, watching it, because I'm like, this is cool shit. Big recoilless rocket launcher. So I'm standing there for maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and this dude comes walking over. And he's like, hey, Yeah. Don't know what he is. No rank on. He's just a taller, older looking dude. You're like, meh. He's like, how long you been standing here? I'm like, 20, 30 minutes. Grabs me by my plate carrier and like drags me behind one of the MATVs that's like between me and the Carl's Gustav. And he's like, you feel okay? I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, you can't do that. He was like, the concussion coming off the back of that. He was like, it's so strong, it'll send your heart out of rhythm and give you a heart attack. I'm like, oh. He's like, yeah. He's like, don't be a dumbass. Taps me on the shoulder and walks away. There's another guy that was, I think it was Luke. His name was Sergeant Luke. And I was like, who is that guy? He's like, oh, that's our Lieutenant Colonel or full bird Colonel, one of the two. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, you'd be all right.
Hope nobody saw that.
You just have like a little bit of blood just dripping out of your nose. You're like,
No, I wasn't worried about that. I was worried about I didn't stand at attention when I'm talking to a freaking lieutenant colonel.
Well, I'm just saying,
I was more worried about that than I was what the Carl's Gustav did.
The after effects.
But I mean, that's how brainwashed you are. That's how like ingrained it is in you. Like, I was scared to death. I was like, man, I hope Esteban didn't see that. Like, he's gonna mess me up.
Why are you embarrassing me?
But no, like I've told stories about that range, and like, oh, there's no way, 100%.
Well, yeah, they were ramping up for a deployment.
Yeah,
so they had literally unlimited access to all the weapon systems and ammo and what they were going to have on deployment because they had to be familiar with it and not just know how to use it, know how to maintain it, know how to employ it. And that was everybody because they operate in 12-man ODAs. So it's a small team and they have a lot of support, but also you have to rely on yourselves a lot to get.
Oh, and this also laid into the other story. So they were shooting their Glock 19 handguns on the one end of the range. Me and Ben are separated at this point in time. Do you remember this?
Well, I remember there was like a reflexive fire.
They were shooting, and you walk up to the guy that's actually like doing their 18 Bravo, and you're talking to him, and you got me into a shooting competition with a bunch of SF dudes. Do you not remember that?
No.
They're out there shooting, and you're like, I guess because I wasn't over there, he's like, yeah, I've got a guy that can shoot better than you guys can, or some shit like that. And I'm like, so Ben goes over, like, hey man, got to come over here. I'm like, oh, so I hear you're better than us. Gosh damn it, you son of a bitch! Like, shh.
And you being who you are, you're like, oh no, probably not.
Yeah.
But then they were like, yeah, let's see how I can shoot. I'm like, okay. Mind you, that's all I ever shot was Glock 19's exact gun. I'm like, bet I'm in. But no, they were pretty good. They were really good at shooting. So
you start putting around, you're like, I'm comfortable. I feel
I
good.
just remember, like,
and then they're like, all right, I'm going to try now. You're like,
like,
you haven't tried? It's like, okay. It's like,
oh shoot. But no, that was a fun range. That was also a fun training exercise. Because remember we drove for like 8 hours out in New Mexico, and they had this like little village set up, and we're off-roading in these up-armored Humvees that they should not be off-roading the way we are. But we finally get out there and we set up, and we're like, where's the SF dudes? A little later on, a Chinook comes flying in, drops down, and they get out. And like, we just drove for 8 hours. You guys took a helicopter out here, but we were playing because they had like a bunch of
there's levels to this, isn't there?
They had like 3 or 4 other Chinooks that came in with a bunch of Afghani and Iraqi nationals that had come into the United States. They'd go out there for training. They'd act like they were the Indige out in this town, out in the middle of literal nowhere in New Mexico. And then there was like a Connex like fob, I guess. And what we were doing while we were out there is the SF, big thing that they do is they actually train Indige forces, and like they help with like tactics of like the Iraqi army or the Afghani National Army or whatever it may be. So we were playing those guys. So they were training us on how to like do tower watches and like patrols and that kind of thing. And yeah, I just remember like those dudes freaking coming in a Chinook, and it was like, son of a gun. Like,
your job's cooler than mine.
Way cooler. But do you remember, so we go into this freaking, which I don't know how much time we got. We probably got to start wrapping this up. But we go in there.
We'll tell this one, then
well, there's this Connex in there. And we go in there, and there's like the remnants of like a campfire with like bones around it. And we're like, huh. Do you remember this?
I do.
Okay. Yeah. So we're up there. I'm on guard duty. It's like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. I'm with one of the SF dudes who's got like the PVS 31s, like the really cool night vision. He's got a thermal that's on one of his guns. It's like a really nice thermal, you know. And I'm just sitting there with my PVS 14, just thinking I'm cool, you know. So you're sitting there, you're talking to these dudes, and like you're playing like you're playing on the guard, like you're a guard, you know, like you're just. So you're up there talking to them, you know, the conversation like, do you think I have what it takes to be No, yeah, I didn't either. I just, But anyways, you just talk about different stuff, and they're talking about how cool they are and all the cool schools they go to, and you're like almost like starstruck, like that's what I thought this was going to be.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're sitting up there, and he's like, I got movement out there. The village is over here, out in the middle of nowhere in this desert. That the New Mexico, like Mexico border, was not very far from us. He has his night vision down, flips it up, pulls up his thermal. He's like, yeah, I got a guy moving with a big backpack, gets on his radio, hands me his rifle. I'm looking at him like, yeah. So then they wake up the QRF to go out there and investigate this. So they drive out there in their freaking MATVs with the Crow systems with our dudes out there scanning this. This dude drops out of sight, drops his bag and takes off running, eventually gets out of there. It was a drug mule. Do you remember that?
I do.
And and after thinking about it, it's like, oh, this is probably where he stops to eat food and stuff. That's what that little fire was and stuff. But he ended up leaving his bag full of like drugs and stuff. I don't think we even messed with it. I think we just left it there.
I don't know if they left it there. They called somebody and they came and grabbed it the next day. And they were probably like, yeah, just cordon that area, don't go out there.
But we just joked around about it. I was like, man, could you imagine being that dude? Like, oh no, they got me. All of a sudden you got military vehicles rolling out, freaking guys with thermals looking around trying to apprehend you. Like,
we were, I think, no, this was a different training exercise, but we were out doing a convoy live fire.
yeah.
Closer, it was like McGregor Range Complex.
Okay.
And SF dudes come rolling up the backside of the range. I guess the gate was open. So they're in their up armored MATVs, and we're only shooting like, small arms, like 7.62. And these guys pull up, like we're driving down the range, we're shooting. They pull up in front of us. We're, oh, ceasefire. They're freaking out. They just like jump out of their vehicles. Hey, what's up, guys? Just on a range, like we're shooting, And they look at their vehicles and they're like, they're up armored. He would have barely woke me up from a nap. Oh my God. I'm like, who are you? You're awesome. They're high cut helmets and stuff. And I'm like, oh. I'm wearing like DAPs, all the shoulder
plate
stuff.
carriers where it looks super lightweight. We're all wearing like our full IOTVs with like I gotta take my collar off at least. I have my nut protector on. I'm cool,
Yeah, it's like being the only kid that still had training wheels on his bike. I'm not cool. No, it was a good time. We had a lot of fun out there.
That range is when I really started falling in love with the Scar 17 because they had Scar heavies out there and I was shooting the shit out of it. And I was a squad designated marksman for a unit and stuff. So like they've got them with the nice because I think they had the 1.5 to 6 Elk inspectors on them. So like they were 13.5 inch freaking Scar H's. I'm like, dude, this is badass. I just remember like I'm getting one of these. It took me a couple of years, but I got one eventually. But
now they're not even making them no more.
The Gen 2s.
Yeah, Gen 2s are.
But no, in saying this, I know we're probably gonna want to start wrapping this one up.
Yeah, that's fine. I said we'll wrap up, and like I said, we can if he's down, do a part 2.
Well, that's the thing is we haven't even scratched the surface.
Well, that's fine. I mean, part 2,
Am I
part
wrong?
3,
I mean,
part 4. Whenever he has time to come over, we can always just carry it on to part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. We can 3.5 years from now. Hopefully, we're still doing this, and you can come out a lot
got
more.
A lot more views.
Yeah,
and you're out.
Yeah,
so you can be a full-time cast member.
Then I can disclose more.
Yeah. You guys can't get me now.
I did my time. No, it's been great. I enjoy you guys having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming out. I know with our weird schedules and with your weird schedule,
somewhat inconvenient schedule sometimes.
Being out of state and whatnot. I mean, but whenever you are home, whenever. The thing
whenever
is, you have time.
The crazy part is he's kind of like the OG one that kind of started the idea for all this. I know that sounds dumb, but like we were just talking about a minute ago, like if we had the access to cell phones with really good cameras back when we were down at Bliss, we would have definitely had a YouTube channel. Like, but back then, your cell phone cameras sucked. So like, if you wanted a YouTube channel, you'd have to have like a nice like $2,000, $3,000 camera. Not a whole lot of infantrymen. You got an extra $3,000 laying around to drop on a camera, and then a computer that can do the editing and all that stuff. So like, but the stuff we did, like, it's the same kind of stuff that you and I are doing now. Like, off-roading, shooting, running drills, reviewing stuff. Like, that was all stuff we did. I mean, heck, this guy was a big YouTube star before we ever were. Remember you're out in the desert and Matt Best, you were in one of Matt Best's videos?
I do. I was actually thinking about that earlier, that we ended up shooting on the west side one time, which is just the other side of El Paso. And Matt Best, this is more when he just made like shorts, he was still kind of coming up. Ran into him and his buddies out there. They were shooting the video, and I was like, you kind of pull up behind him, and you're like, oh my God, is that Matt Best? All his infantry guys knew who he was. And, they come over like, hey, what's up, guys? Like, what do you need? Man, I'm just a fan. Can I get a picture, super great guys, he's been successful as well.
They were in a video. They ended up getting taken down off YouTube. Yeah. The pocket thing that goes on they had one that mounted to the back of a gun like you're shooting it that
stabilized it.
Yeah, it's the same pocket stabilizer. That's what it was.
But yeah, good times.
Oh yeah, we can go ahead and if you want, just kind of wrap it up. I said,
yeah. Well, guys, we appreciate it. Ben, big thank you to you. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
hope you had a decent time. If you guys like anything that we use here as far as the Bulkhead Energy drinks, if you need gun cleaning stuff, the modern Spartan systems, knives, anything you guys see us use in videos or that you're interested in, check the links down below. It'll save you a little bit of cash with today's economy. You got to stretch that dollar as far as you can.
Yeah, I mean, just, like I said, appreciate having Ben come out here. Like I said, hopefully, if he's down, we're down, get him for part 2, or we can just carry it on, whatever, and maybe eventually have him be a lot more frequent,
Yeah, we'll see if he's DTF next week and I'm down to fire.
Yeah. I mean, so hopefully, we can get him out here because, like I said, I'm just over here I'm like a fly on the wall, just hanging out.
That's next week when we shoot. It's going to be fun because Ben has all kinds of different guns that I don't have. So we'll be able to do a lot of shooting, get some reviews in,
and if
just hang out like old times a little bit,
And if we're able to do this again next week, we can talk about what we shot, how we, what I mean? Still go on with stories and, your guys' past life or whatever else. I mean, now
the 2 years that felt like a lifetime.
Yeah,
probably for you.
Hopefully we can get that going.
Trying to keep these guys alive. What are we doing here?
They're screwed. He's gonna die.
What are they gonna do when I get out? Oh no.
Thanks for the invite, guys. Had a great time. Love the show. Love the podcast.
Yeah, and that's one thing too. Before we do wrap it up, I mean, he's been an OG viewer. He's been here since video 1. He watches all the stuff when, and that's a more thank you than anything because just having support, especially with us trying to get
I'm not
what we want to get to it.
I'm not trying to get sappy, but when times were kind of getting a little bit rough, Ben actually called me the one day just out of the blue, and I sat in the parking lot of the gym for like an hour talking to him, and I just kind of remember like I'd posted a short or something and it just got like 0 views, and I'm like, is this even worth it? Like, what are we?
This.
Like, we're not monetized yet. We're not where we want to be. It's like,
we're wasting money.
You don't want to quit, but you're like. But I remember Ben calling me and being like, "Dude, you guys are doing a good job. Keep it up." And it was just like, you probably don't realize it, but that was like, all right, yeah, we can do this.
That was the little kind of kick in the butt that you needed, or
well,
just
no,
a little
just like
reassurance.
Yeah, a little reassurance, kind of like, okay, well, at least somebody's watching us. But you know what I mean? Like, I know that sounds dumb, but like,
well, that's the thing too. Even with these, like, I love doing these. I love talking to you. Guests, people, whoever it is, and at the same time, like, editing wise, these don't take long. These don't take long. They're not hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's good content. It's fun. Just BSing with your boys, your friends, whatever.
Well, and eventually, the more he can try to get into some more videos, he can put a whole different aspect on it, because you got to think the stuff that I was dealing with back in 2010 to 2014, training's changed, tactics have changed. He's up to date on all this.
Yeah.
He's still a barrel-chested freedom fighter. You know what I mean? I'm just a has-been.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying that and all. I'm not joking around. I mean, it's I'm joking, but like it's a compliment. But when it comes to different stuff, like he's up to snuff on all the up-to-date tactics. I mean, like without getting into details of his job, he's training the next leaders of the military right now. So like he's going to have a lot more
insight.
Yeah, on different tactics, different drills, different, thoughts on stuff. Because, like, that's like next week, like, you're going to be, we're doing a freeze-dried feast with you. So,
looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am looking forward to it. You're going to love it. So, don't eat that day. Whatever day we shoot, do not eat anything in the morning.
Perfect. I'll bring baby wipes.
Because
I'll bring baby wipes.
At least you're not DeTavio.
Yeah,
he was a wounded warrior that was used to run around with us, and he got hit in the stomach with shrapnel on his deployment. He had a bunch of his lower intestine taken out, so he's in the wounded warrior unit, like getting ready to get out. But anyways, that guy on like clockwork every 20 minutes. Didn't matter where you were, didn't matter what you were doing. He always had baby wipes in a backpack and a freaking e-tool that he could fold over and use as a seat. he was going to use the bathroom every 20 minutes on the dot.
That would
Am
be
I wrong?
awful.
No, there were times he would just say, "Hey, pull over." He'd be like right now. He's like, "Right now." Okay,
Roger.
yeah, but go for it.
I know at one point in time he was talking about moving to Ohio. I need to reach out to him because if he is, like, he's
That'd be sick,
dude.
too.
He's great, dude. Like him and Ben were better buddies than me and him were, but like I got pretty close with Tavio, dude. He's such a good dude.
Yep.
Little stud though, man. That guy, he was always strong as shit. Like, but anyways,
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and close this one out. Like I said, if you guys made it this far, y'all some real ones. I mean, this is probably going to be minimum an hour and a half, probably closer to 2. I mean, like I said, we can make plenty of these stories that you guys got and everything else. But you know, if you guys made it this far, you know, shout out to you guys and for sticking around and listen to 3 randos babble for an hour and a half. I mean, but at the same time, I mean, we love it. I mean, we really do. But like Ethan said, if there is anything that you guys are interested in, links are always down in the description. Save yourself, a couple bucks on some things. With that being said, we appreciate you guys sticking around, watching. If you do have any comments, concerns, questions for maybe you guys, for the next video, drop it down in there. Maybe if you guys have, like I said, some questions about, certain things that, you guys may have done yourself, or you guys want to know, if as far as we can talk about certain things, go ahead and drop that down in the comment section below. Get a nice conversation going. But as always, make sure you do hit that like, comment, subscribe button, so every time we drop a short or video or a video or anything in between. And as always,
we'll see you guys next time with your Daily Dose podcast, brought to you by R&R.
We'll see you guys.
It's always such a mouthful. I'm always like, what do I say?
All work, no pleasure. I ain't here to make friends, big stepper. Hey, bad guy, Heath Ledger. Ready for wherever, I'll be front and center. Don't fly too close to the sun, your body chopped up by propellers. Came in.